So you've worked, Price, you've worked with everybody. I mean, you started with Hank Williams and everybody.
Well, tell us about Hank Williams. How was Hank to work with or for?
Hank was a great cat. And, you know, everybody said he was a drug addict. It's not true. The only thing he ever did was he was an alcoholic. That's a drug, I guess.
Yeah.
But periodic, and you go into a town, a lot of times you have, like, we played one time in Norfolk, and the promoter brought a pint of whiskey to him and got him drunk so they didn't have to pay him. We had about 12,000 people.
Yeah. And
that happened to him a lot.
And he was a natural, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it was, but he was street smart. I mean, he seemed like he must have been.
Well, he was raised on the streets of Montgomery, you know, and he shined shoes, sold peanuts, sold paper, so that him and his mama could live. Yeah. He had a pretty tough story, but he was a fine person.
And you were, you went to Nashville what year, you remember?
I went to Nashville. I went up as his guest on Thanksgiving of '51, and then in January of '52, I started on the road with him. And I only worked one tour with him, and I wasn't one of the band or anything like that.
Just open, sure.
Just open, yeah. Kind of tough when Hank wasn't there.
Let's y'all talk about Bob Wills, because that's.
We'll just talk about ourselves.
You know, talk about yourself about Bob Wills. Tell the stories you can tell. Every one of us. Sleep at the wheel.
Merle probably got a lot of good
Merle.
Bob Wills stories.
Bob Wills came from my birthday in the year 1970 in Bakersfield, and he'd already had the major stroke, was in a wheelchair and was unable to play. But I got all the band together and had it up over my ranch, Bob Wills and Texas Playboys, one night only. And a lot of those guys hadn't seen each other in several years, and some of them were enemies, and some of them didn't like each other, and some did. But anyway, they were there, and that we played for like 24 hours, you know, and there was a lot of funny things happening. I remember I walked by, Bob was sitting in his wheelchair in front of the bandstand, the Texas Playboys were playing, and Bob did like that, and I leaned down and he said, "Get your fiddle." I said, "Hey," I just been playing a couple of months. He said, "Get your fiddle." And he said, "Tell Johnny Gimble he's flat."
That breaks meter.
And I went up there on the stage, and I got the fiddle, and you know, and they were in the middle of a tune. I leaned over and I told Gimble, I said, "Hey, the old man said you're flat." He said, "Well, I'll push that old sumbitch in the pool."
Haggard brought, you know, to my generation, George Strait, ourselves, you know, brought Bob Wills' music real into focus for us with that album he did in 1970, tribute to the best damn fiddler, Bob Wills.
He was just such an influence to me that I had to do something like that, because I was really proud to have as much knowledge about his music as I did, because it was just such a treasure that had for whatever reason had gotten cold. It was about as cold as it ever was.
Willie Nelson, your second album was the liner notes were by Bob Wills.
I booked Bob Wills when I was a teenager. Me and my brother-in-law were about half-assed promoters, you know, so we had a club that we played in over there, Whitney, Texas. And so we booked Bob. It was after Tommy had left. And
what year?
Jody Andrews was singing with him. Remember Jody? And Hub and Ed and all those. And anyway, I booked him. We had to haul a piano all the way from west over there. And it would just knock me out to hear him up there with Jody Andrews. So he called me up to sing, and I sang San Antonio Rose. And it was funny because he didn't really know where to come in and aha at, because my phrases was a little strange.
I bet he thought it was.
He said, "What the hell is this kid on?"
He knew he liked it, but he didn't know why.
Now, Price, you're, you know, you went from the hillbilly sound and then created this Texas, whatever you tell us what to call it with, but it was involved with twin fiddles or Tommy Jackson and Buddy Emmons or
Grady Martin played fiddle too, you know.
Grady
Yeah.
played fiddle and guitar. He was with Red Foley, I guess, for you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But tell me about how, I mean, because again, you know, in Texas you had to have 2 fiddles or 3 fiddles if you were with Bob Wills kind of music.
Well, if you're going to play the clubs, you need it to sound like that, you know. And I don't know, when Bob was go out of town, I had my group and we'd go in his place, and Luke Wills, his brother, played bass with us. And then later on, Luke got the business so messed up that Bob come in and got Luke and left Shannon to play guitar with us. And Shannon was the bookkeeper.
Elton was good.
So, yeah. But I remember Bob, we played in Tulsa at the fair. Blondie Calderon was playing vibraphone. And Bob was on the show, and Blondie asked me, said, what do I do if he wants me to do something? I said, don't worry about it. Let me tell you about Bob Wills. When if he points that fiddle bow at you, you get into it. I don't care what you do, you just get on it. And sure enough, right about halfway through it, Bob, and pointed at Blondie, and he ate that vibraphone up. And at the end of it, Bob says, says, I don't know what this thing is over there, but I want to get me 2 of them.